大家好，今天开始，我们通过一起读英语文章的形式，来使用 ChatGPT 来帮助我们学习文章中新的词汇。今天的文章是关于发生在以色列的司法抗议活动。右手边是这篇文字的中文翻译，有助于帮助大家理解文章的主题。我们将先来通读一遍这篇英语文章，然后找出其中的重点学习的词汇。接下来让 ChatGPT 给我们找到他们的解释，并给出一些例句。好，现在我们来读文章吧。
Netanyahu ally, plan to overhaul Israeli judiciary delayed. Tens of thousands of Israelis demonstrated outside parliament and workers launched a nationwide strike Monday in a dramatic escalation of the mass protest movement aimed at halting Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's plan to overhaul the judiciary. But as Netanyahu remained silent, signs emerged that he would soon delay the divisive program. His National Security Minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir, announced late Monday that the plan was being put on hold until the parliament's summer session, which begins on April 30th, giving time for the rival sides to seek a compromise. The chaos shut down much of the country and threatened to paralyze the economy. Departing flights from the main international airport were grounded. Large mall chains and universities closed their doors, and Israel's largest trade union called for its 800,000 members to stop work in healthcare, transit, banking, and other fields. Diplomats walked off the job at foreign missions, and local governments were expected to close preschools and cut other services. The main doctors' union announced that its members would also strike. The growing resistance to Netanyahu's plan came hours after tens of thousands of people burst into the streets around the country in a spontaneous show of anger at the Prime Minister's decision to fire his defense minister after he called for a pause to the overhaul. Chanting "The country is on fire," they lit bonfires on Tel Aviv's main highway, closing the thoroughfare and many others throughout the country for hours. Demonstrators gathered again Monday outside the Knesset, or Parliament, turning the streets surrounding the building and the Supreme Court into a roiling sea of blue and white Israeli flags dotted with rainbow pride banners. Large demonstrations in Tel Aviv, Haifa, and other cities drew thousands more. "This is the last chance to stop this move into a dictatorship," said Mattatyahu Sperber, 68, who joined a stream of people headed to the protest outside the Knesset. "I'm here for the fight to the end." It was unclear how Netanyahu would respond to the growing pressure. Some members of his Likud party said they would support the prime minister if he heeded calls to halt the overhaul. Israeli media, citing unnamed sources, reported that he could indeed pause it. Ben-Gvir, who has been one of the strongest proponents of the plan, announced after meeting with the prime minister that he had agreed to a delay of at least a few weeks. He said Netanyahu had agreed to bring the legislation for a vote when Parliament reconvenes if no agreements are reached during the recess. Netanyahu was expected to speak to the nation later Monday. The plan, driven by Netanyahu, who is on trial for corruption, and his allies in Israel's most right-wing government ever, has plunged Israel into one of its worst domestic crises. It has sparked sustained protests that have galvanized nearly all sectors of society, including its military, where reservists have increasingly said publicly that they will not serve a country veering toward autocracy. Israel's Palestinian citizens, however, have largely sat out the protests. Many say Israel's democracy is tarnished by its military rule over their brethren in the West Bank and the discrimination they themselves face. The turmoil has magnified long-standing and intractable differences over Israel's character that have riven it since the country was founded. Protesters insist they are fighting for the soul of the nation, saying the overhaul will remove Israel's system of checks and balances and directly challenge its democratic ideals. The government has labeled them anarchists out to topple democratically elected leaders. Government officials say the plan will restore balance between the judicial and executive branches and rein in what they see as an interventionist court with liberal sympathies. At the center of the crisis is Netanyahu himself, Israel's longest-serving leader, and questions about the lengths he may be willing to go to maintain his grip on power, even as he battles charges of fraud, breach of trust, and accepting bribes in 3 separate affairs. He denies wrongdoing. On Monday afternoon, Netanyahu issued his first statement since he fired Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, urging against violence ahead of a planned counter-protest in Jerusalem organized by ultranationalist supporters of the judicial overhaul.
好，听完了朗读呢，我们来看一下需要学习的生词。 在标题 Netanyahu ally plan to overhaul Israeli judiciary delayed 这个标题里面有两个单词我们想学一下，第一个是 overhaul，第二个是 judiciary。通过 ChatGPT 的查找呢，我们知道 overhaul 的意思在英语里是 to examine or repair something completely, especially a system or a machine。中文是全面检查或修理某个东西，尤其是指的是一整套系统或者机器。第一个例句它给我们是 The company had to overhaul its entire computer system after the data breach。数据泄露以后，公司不得不彻底检查、修理整个计算机系统。第二个例句，我们看是 The old house needed a complete overhaul before it could be sold。老房子在售出前需要进行全面的翻新 （overhaul）。这里它需要翻新什么呢？Overhaul Israeli judiciary，翻新、彻底检查以色列的司法机关、司法系统。所以第二个单词 judiciary，它的英语的意思就是 the branch of government responsible for interpreting and applying the law in a country, state or region。表示是一个国家或者地区负责解释和执行法律的政府部门、司法机关。来看这个例句 ：The independence of the judiciary is crucial to the proper functioning of a democratic society。司法独立对民主社会的正常运作至关重要。第二个例句 The judicial system in this country has been criticized for being slow and inefficient。这个国家的司法系统因为缓慢和低效而受到批评。好，我们接下来来看第一段的单词。第一段的先来读一下 ：Tens of thousands of Israeli demonstrated outside Parliament, and workers launched a nationwide strike Monday in a dramatic escalation of the mass protest movement aimed at halting Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's plan to overhaul the judiciary。第一段里面，我们要学一下 a dramatic escalation。我们来看一下 ChatGPT 是怎么样解释 a dramatic escalation 的。这里我们同样让它给出英语和中文的解释，并且给出两个例句。OK， 我们看到英语的意思是 a sudden and significant increase or intensification in a situation or conflict。表示是一个情况或者冲突的突然或显著的增加。我们用英语的例句，第一个英语例句是 The latest missile attack marks a dramatic escalation of the conflict in the region。最新的导弹袭击标志着该地区冲突剧烈升级。第二个例句 The imposition of the new trade tariffs could lead to a dramatic escalation in tensions between the two countries。新的贸易关税的征收可能会导致两国之间紧张局势的剧烈升级。好，我们来看第二段。第二段我们要学的两个单词，一个是 divisive， 第二个是 compromise。我们来看一下 ChatGPT 是怎么跟我们解释的。OK， 第一个单词 divisive，divisive， 它的英语的意思呢，表示是呢 causing disagreement or hostility between two people, especially within a group or community， 引起人们之间分歧或敌对情绪的东西，尤其呢是在一个社区或者群体内部。divisive 表示有分歧的。第一个例句。The issue of immigration is highly divisive and has caused a lot of tension in the community。 移民问题呢极具争议性，已经在社区内引起了很多紧张的局势。divisive。第二个例句呢是 The candidate's remarks was seen as divisive and sparked a heated debate among the voters。这个候选人的言论呢被认为是分裂性的，并在选民中引发了激烈的辩论。第二个单词我们要学习是 compromise。compromise 它的英语的意思呢是 an agreement or settlement in which both sides will make concessions, usually in order to resolve dispute or to reach a common goal. Compromise 就是一种协议或者解决方案，大家都做出了让步，通常呢是为了解决争端而达到共同的目标。我们看第一个英语例句 ：The two sides reached a compromise on the controversial issue of trade tariffs。双方在贸易关税这有争议的问题上达成了妥协。In a healthy relationship, both partners should be willing to compromise and find a solution that works for both of them。在一段健康的关系中呢，双方应该都愿意妥协，并且找到对双方都适合的解决方案。所以这段两个单词 divisive 表示是分裂性的 ，compromise 呢表示是妥协。接下来一段有个单词 paralyze， 我们来看一下它的解释。paralyze。paralyze 它的英语解释呢，就是 make someone or something unable to move or function properly， 使某个人呢或者某个东西呢无法运动、无法移动或者正常工作。paralyze。它的英语解释是英语的例句是 The accident left him paralyzed from the waist down。那个事故呢导致他从腰部以下瘫痪 ，paralyze 表示瘫痪的意思。第二个例句 The strike could paralyze public transportation and disrupt daily life for millions of people。这个罢工呢可能会导致什么？公共交通的瘫痪，从而呢影响数百万人的生活。paralyze。接下来一段我们重点学的单词呢是，第一个是 spontaneous， 第二个是 thoroughfare。我们来看一下 ChatGPT 给我们给出什么样的解释和例句。把这个去掉。spontaneous。spontaneous 它的英语的意思就是 happening or done in a natural, often sudden way, without being planned or organized。spontaneous 它的中文意思就是自然而然的发生的，通常是突然没有经过计划或者组织的。第一个例句，看 A spontaneous burst of applause erupted from the audience as the singer finished her performance。歌手的表演结束以后呢，观众自然而然地爆发出掌声。Spontaneous burst of applause 就是自然而然地爆发出掌声。Spontaneous。第二个例句 They decided to take a spontaneous road trip and ended up driving through 5 different states。他们决定进行一次自发的公共旅行，就是没有经过很好的计划，直接就上路了。最终呢，驾车穿过了5个不同的州。看第二个单词 thoroughfare。thoroughfare 的意思呢，就是一个 main road 或者 public highway。typically the one with a lot of traffic， 就是指高速公路，有交通量很大的高速公路。第一个例句 The accident on the busy thoroughfare caused major traffic delays。繁忙的主干道上的事故造成了交通严重堵塞。第二个例句 The street used to be a quiet residential area, but it has since turned into a major thoroughfare with shops and restaurants. 这条街呢，曾经是一个安静的住宅区， 但现在已经变成了一个拥有 shops 商店和 restaurant 的主要道路，就变得非常的繁忙。OK， 看好这两个单词，接下来我们看两个单词 heated cause 和 proponents， 我们来查一下它们的意思。Heated 它的动词是 heed，H-E-E-D。它的英语意思是 to pay attention to and take notes of something, especially because it's important， 表示是关注或注意某事，尤其是因为它很重要。第一个例句 ，It is important to heed the warning signs of stress and take steps to manage it。重要的是要注意压力的警告信号，并采取措施来管理它。To heed the warning。Heed 后面是及物动词，直接加名词。To heed the warning signs. She didn't heed the advice of her doctor and ended up making her condition worse. 她没有听从医生的建议，结果病情恶化了。She didn't heed the advice. Heed the advice 听从建议，有点类似于 listen to 的意思。第二个单词 proponent 英语的意思是 a person who advocates for or supports a particular idea, belief, or course， 支持某种思想、信仰或者事业的人 proponent。第一个例句 She is a proponent of renewable energy and has worked to promote solar and wind power in her community。她是可再生能源的支持者 proponent of something， 什么事情的支持者。他致力于推动太阳能和风能发电。第二个例句 The proponent of the new policy argued that it would lead to a greater efficiency and cost saving。新政策的支持者认为它会带来更高的效率和节约成本。接下来我们看一个什么单词是 reconvene。它的意思是重新聚在一起开会。reconvene， 我们看一下例句。OK， reconvene 它给我出我们的英语意思是 to meet again or to come together after a break or interruption， 在休息或者短暂终止之后呢，再次聚在一起，往往是指再次开会讨论一件事情。第一个例句 The committee will reconvene next week to continue the discussion。 委员会下周将重新召开会议，继续讨论。第二个例句The meeting was adjourned until the following day, when they planned to reconvene and make a decision. 会议暂停的第二天，他们那时候会再聚在一起，然后并试着做出一个决定。Reconvene 往往是指重新开会的意思。接下来这一段有4个单词，我们要学习，一个是 plunge， 然后呢 sustain 和 galvanize 和 veering autocracy。Okay， 我们首先看 plunge。plunge 它的英语意思是 to fall or drop suddenly and quickly， 就是突然快速的下跌或下降。The stock market plunged after news of the company's bankruptcy was announced。 第一个例句是公司破产的消息公布后呢，它的股市暴跌。第二个例句 The temperature plunged overnight and we woke up to a frosty morning。 温度在一夜之间骤降，我们醒来的时候呢，就是必须得面对一个寒冷的早晨。Plunge。第二个单词 sustained 的英语意思就是 continuing for a long time without interruption or weakening， 持续了很长时间，一样东西没有中断或减弱。The sustained rainfall caused flooding in many areas of the city。 持续的降雨导致城市很多地方发生洪水。The team's success is due in part of the sustained effort and commitment to improvement。 团队的成功部分归功于他们持续的努力和对改进的承诺。第三个单词 galvanize galvanize 它的意思是 to inspire or stimulate into action, to shock or excite into taking action, 激励或激发某人采取行动 galvanize。第一个例句 The tragedy galvanized the community into coming together to help those affected. 悲剧激发了社区的凝聚力，让人们团结在一起来帮助受影响的人。第二个例句 The new evidence galvanized the investigation and led to the arrest of the suspect. 新的证据激发了调查，导致嫌疑人被逮捕。galvanize。来，我们看一下最后一个单词 autocracy 的意思。autocracy 给出我们的中文意思 refers to a form of government that or single person. Dictatorship. So autocracy 的意思呢就是独裁统治。有两个例句，the country has been ruled by an autocracy for decades, with the same person holding the power without any opposition. 这个国家数十年来一直由个人独裁统治 ，autocracy。这个人一直没有面临任何反对力量。第二个例句是 The government's new policies have been criticized as a step towards autocracy, as they give too much power to the president. 政府的新政策被批为迈向独裁的一步，因为它赋予总统过多的权利。autocracy。这里有两个单词在这一段，第一个是 tarnished by its military rule over their brethren in the West Bank. So tarnished 和 brethren。tarnished 的意思呢，在英语就是 to lose its value, quality, or reputation due to or being damaged or discredited or defamed. 表示就是说一个东西被玷污了，被损坏了。第一个例句 The politician's reputation was tarnished when he was caught accepting bribes from a major corporation. 那政治家呢，因为他从一个大公司接受贿赂呢，而名誉扫地。第二个例句 The scandal has tarnished the company's image and many customers are now hesitant to do business with them. 这个丑闻玷污了公司的形象，很多客户现在都不愿意和他们做生意。第二个单词 brethren 表示是 the members of the same religious or social group， 表示兄弟会，就是同一个教会或一个社群的一些人。第一个例句 The brethren of the church helped to raise funds for the community center. 教会的教友 brethren of the church 他帮助筹集资金。第二个 The fraternity's annual reunion brings together its brethren from all over the world. 兄弟会的年度聚会呢，将世界各地的成员聚集在一起。接下来一段话 So the turmoil has magnified the long-standing and intractable differences over Israel's character that have riven it since the country was founded. 这个单词 turmoil 和 intractable， 我们来看一下它们的解释。Turmoil refers to a state or of great disturbance, confusion, or uncertainty. 表示呢是一个非常混乱非常混乱动荡的一个情况的 turmoil。第一个例句 The country was in turmoil after the dictator was overthrown and a power vacuum emerged. 这个国家在他的独裁者被推翻之后呢，就陷入了混乱，出现了权力的真空。第二个例句 The pandemic caused economic turmoil, with many businesses struggling to stay afloat. 疫情的大流行呢，引发了经济的动荡，许多企业难以维持生计。 第二个单词 intractable。intractable in English means refers to a problem or situation that is difficult or impossible to solve or deal with。表示一个非常难以解决的棘手的问题。第一个例句 ：The conflict between the two neighboring countries has proven to be intractable, with peace talks repeatedly failing。这两个邻国之间的冲突被证明是非常的棘手，他们之间的和平谈判呢一再失败。第二个例句 ：The negotiations between management and the labor union have become intractable due to inconsolable differences。管理层和工会之间的谈判呢，因为无法调和的分歧呢，变得难以解决。Intractable 表示是棘手的。接下来我们这一段再看 anarchist 和 topple。OK，我们看这段，它的这段话是 The government has labeled them anarchists out to topple democratically elected leaders。Anarchist 什么意思呢？它表示是无政府主义者。用英语的话说，就是它 refers to a person who believes in or advocates for the abolition of all forms of government and the organization of society on a voluntary, cooperative basis。要消灭所有的政府。第一个例句 The anarchist group is known for their anti-government stance and their calls for a stateless society。这个无政府主义团体呢，以反对政府的立场和呼吁无国家社会而闻名。第二个例句 Some people view the anarchist movement as a threat to social order and stability。一些人认为无政府主义的运动是对社会秩序和稳定的威胁。第二个单词 topple。Topple 什么意思呢？它 means to overthrow or to remove from position of power, often in a sudden or violent way， 表示推翻某人的权利，突然剥夺某人的权利，推翻政权。经常呢是用一个突然的或暴力的方式。第一个例句 The people took to the streets to demand that the corrupt regime be toppled and the democracy be established。人们走上街头，要求推翻腐败的政权，建立民主制度。第二个例句 The company's CEO was toppled from his position after the board discovered financial misconduct。自从公司董事会发现这个 CEO 有财务不当的行为呢之后呢，他就被罢免了。Topple。好，接下来我们来看这篇文章最后的三个单词。第一个是 rein in。rein in what they see as an interventionist。rein in 的意思呢，就是 to control or limit something that is becoming too powerful or difficult to manage。就是在一项东西正在变得越来越难以控制的时候呢，要采取措施，要加强管理控制。第一个例句，它给我们是 The government has tried to rein in the rising inflation by tightening monetary policy。政府呢试图通过收紧货币政策来控制不断上升的通货膨胀。第二个例句 The manager had to rein in his employees' spending habits to keep the company from going bankrupt。经理必须控制员工的支出习惯，以避免公司破产。第二个单词 interventionist。什么叫 interventionist 呢 ？interventionist 它表示是呢一个人或者一项政策 ，a person or a policy that advocates for active intervention。especially by a government or in a situation or industry， 是中文我们可以叫他们干预主义者。第一个例句 The interventionist approach of the government has been criticized for interfering with the free market。政府的干预主义方法受到批评，因为它干扰了自由市场。 第二个例句，The new CEO is an interventionist who plans to make significant changes to the company's structure。这位新的 CEO 呢，是一位干预主义者，计划对公司的结构进行重大改变。最后一个单词 ultra-nationalist。Ultra-nationalist refers to a personal group that holds extreme nationalist views and beliefs, often characterized by hostility toward other countries or cultures。这是极端的民族主义者。第一个例句 The ultra-nationalist party won a majority in the election and has since implemented policies that promote isolationism。极端民族主义政党呢，在选举中赢得了多数，然后呢，实施了促进孤立主义的政策。第二个例句 Ultra-nationalist group has been accused of hate speech and inciting violence against immigrants。极端主义团体呢被指控进行仇恨言论 hate speech， 并煽动呢针对移民的暴力行为。好，现在我们把这篇文章基本上所有的重要单词呢都已经通过 ChatGPT 给我们解释，并提供了一些例句，中文、英文的翻译都有。好，希望大家给我宝贵意见，看一下有什么可以改进的地方，我会给大家带来更多的类似的英语的朗读和单词的学习视频。好，谢谢观看，再见。